Good day to you. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis, Director, Colombo Empathic Learning Center. I want to discuss a very difficult topic today. Why are boys losing their natural affection, attraction for girls, and therefore how do the girls respond? I have done this topic as part of the screen-brain balance. As you are getting into the screen and get abused by the screen, the dopamine begins to increase the time that dopamine is being used on your conceptual tracks. So we think with our prefrontal cortex. This is called top-down regulation, and then it should be creative, empathic, good for me and others, reflecting, initiation, navigation, successful in conclusion, good reward. That's the way we should think and do. But when a kid is on the digital screen with fast digital games, dopamine keeps increasing and doesn't come down. Our default mode network of thought every hour is formed by dopamine working to focus or salience coming down, and serotonin begins to work and bring that sense of good reward. How do I improve? Check back. So it's not only checking back on studies, it's not only a curricular habit, it becomes a character habit of having done something, checking back whether it was all right. How do you improve? That's how the wise good shepherd has designed our tracks. So when any kid is on the screen endlessly, the dopamine doesn't come down, therefore the serotonin has no time to work. Similarly, during mealtime, oxytocin works for good communication, and before sleep particularly, and in other relationships, gamma aminobutyric acid works for empathy. Now it is from this empathy, from GABA, good communication, desirable expression and bonhomie of meeting together with oxytocin, and serotonin giving a good reward for a relationship, that human beings connect with each other. When a boy is dopamine high constantly because of the digital games, he is only thinking of the next digital thrill, digital addiction, and he gets into other addictions. And a desire, attraction, romance they are not in his thinking pattern, it's not happening in his inside. Then girls begin to realize that boys are not interested in them. Besides that, girls also on the digital screen increase in their dopamine connectivity in the brain. Dopamine is all the time active across the dopamine receptors. And when a boy is on digital games and he is dopamine high in the brain tracks, the testosterone will keep him on dopamine for a long time. And it can turn to violence and rough activity, rude activity, risk activity, all that goes on with dopamine. Now when a girl is on digital games for a long time and her dopamine receptors are overactive, and dopamine receptors shift from DA1 physiological to DA2 addictive, then you want to do the same thing again and again, same with the boys. So their last hour of digital activity propels them to the next hour of digital activity. In their brain it goes on and on doing the same thing. So when a girl is on dopamine high digital activity, her menstrual cycle begins to suffer. That dopamine activity begins to interfere with the pituitary activity of regular menstrual cycle. She may suffer dysmenorrhea and amenorrhea or menstrual irregularities. Similarly, her sense of affection has also gone down, and she does not know to make romance. One sequence of this is girls go after girls and boys go after boys. because the digital screen has equalized their sexual feelings. Secondly, they only love themselves, so they will consume their any desire on just gratifying themselves. Thirdly, girls who are still keen on boys will realize that boys do not feel attracted, and they can get into sending bad pictures, exposing themselves in order to attract a boy who is not getting attracted in the right way. So the digital screen can cause all these abnormalities, all these aberrations in the romance, sexual, feeling behavior of young children as young as 12 years old. So it is a known fact there are girly groups in many schools and boy groups in many schools, and homosexual activities increasing, so that teachers have to keep constant watch even when two girls go to use the washroom. This is a sad situation. So this is a little technical examination of why boys are no more thinking about girls and girls are not thinking about boys. Then girls who are thinking about boys use bad pictures trying to get a romance going, which of course is very unfortunate. To this is added parental pressure of performance, perform or perish, sink or swim. Then if you speak that language to kids, they are driven some more with dopamine to somehow achieve what is being expected from them. Then because their learning habits have been disrupted by too much screen, their memory, recall, collation, connection, all that has been affected because the studies are committed to memory. After a while, for a long time, what you studied remains in RAM, random access memory of the brain. So when you intermittently do the screen, fast games and so on, what you study does not get deposited in the memory tracks. So this also affects your study performance, and you get pushed because you are not performing well at school. Then some kids have this close space syndrome. They isolate from everybody, and slowly they are thinking of a great digital thrill, going to the highest place in the city, climbing a tower and taking a selfie at a very risky angle at the highest place, and thereafter they go even worse with the risk behavior, as we have seen it happening, as we have heard reported about the drastic things that have happened. So how do we make a solution for this? Parents have to keep bonding with their kids somehow and plead with them not to use the screen so much. Plead with them to keep the screen away for at least 3 hours study stretch, at least a 2-hour study stretch. So don't keep 2 gadgets, 3 gadgets with them. If they are on the laptop for online studies, let them not do multitasking with their phone. You have to plead with them. Don't allow them to take the digital gadget into the bedroom. You have to plead with them. You can't fight with them. You can certainly receive some of my clips on this subject if you send me a WhatsApp to +94 74 211 5011. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis. I am Director, Colombo Empathic Learning Center. Before that, I was my last official post was as Head of Department of Pharmacology in a state medical faculty. That's why my research on this screen-brain balance, and in 2019 I presented to Sri Lanka Medical Association, SLMA, an academic session on how the screen affects brain dysregulation, affects brain homeostasis, and how oxytocin, serotonin, GABA, they are not working properly in a digitized kid. That affects learning, curriculum, behavior, sleep, and in the night melatonin does not work properly. Then you wake up in the morning without proper physiological sleep. If you take a good meal regularly, that meal time which evokes serotonin, oxytocin, GABA, and good mealtime chats is a reprieving method of getting a child into digital games and digitization, a little out of it if you have a proper sit-down meal. So parents, if you are also on the screen, this problem becomes much worse. So we have to plead with you, don't give a young child, young as 3, 4, 5, the screen thinking the screen can teach languages. It's a horrible nanny, and you are beginning a lifelong habit. Do not use the screen at all for meal time. So I have done extensive talks about this, but today I wanted to touch on this sexual aberration and the digital screen. So you have to befriend your children, be close to them, and we have to teach teachers how to handle the situation. Don't fight your school parents, because parents and teachers have to work together. So we do a program called Kids Family Connect, KFCN, and our next program is on 22nd March, Saturday, 9:30 a.m. at Colombo Empathic Learning Center, which is near the Colombo Oval. If you want to have a link, please send a WhatsApp to +94 74 211 5011. Till we meet again, I want to leave you this message with you, and I just want to read you this passage which is very encouraging, and this is how it is offset by "You form my inward parts, wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you. I am reverently and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your words. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance. Your book were all written, the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was no one of them." So there is a God script, a God scroll, and a God scope written into every child. How precious also are your thoughts to me, how vast is the sum of them. So this is how a child should feel, and you must certainly foster that kind of sense in a child of well-being, worth. You can do very well. That's the language we have to speak, always the language of you can improve. So let's work at this together. I have given you the telephone numbers. If you want a cost-free consultation for any one of these problems that I have mentioned, please give a telephone call to 074 211 5011. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis. Thank you for listening.